Welcome back to the W Number, guys. Today I have breaking news. 2 officers were stabbed, 3 others were injured. Many inmates were affected by the situation, and there's a narrative being built. It's not just a randomized situation where something happened and these officers are getting stabbed. No inmate stabs an officer for no reason. But first, I would like to start this off with a prayer for the victims of the stabbing and also the inmates who are affected by the situation. Please, God, bless the victims who were stabbed, the officers. Let them find empathy and, understanding for the inmates in our situation. Let both sides see it for the way it really is. So that way we can come together and make a solution for this and get some real change within the system, because things need to change, God. And bless me during this live. Let me find the facts and the truth and get down to business. Amen. All right, guys. So I'm gonna start it off. I'm gonna show you a video that broke 12 minutes ago about the situation, and we'll start from there and see what the news is saying about it at this current time, because there's a whole different view that I'm gonna give you insight that nobody has on this situation, as somebody who's been through it myself.
But first, we do begin with breaking news out of Lancaster. 2 correction officers at the Souza Baranowski Correctional Center were stabbed this evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Priscilla Casper.
And I'm Glenn Jones. Let's get right out to our Kirsten Glavin. She's live with the breaking details.
Glenn, Priscilla, I can tell you this facility is now secure. You can see police officers and several cruisers are currently blocking the road off up to the facility. This happened just before 6:30. Information is limited, but we know the violence happened inside of the Souza Baranowski Correctional Center off of Shirley Road here. We're told that 2 correction officers were stabbed by inmates here and that 3 additional officers were injured trying to intervene. All 5 were taken to nearby hospitals where they are being treated for those injuries this evening. Again, 2 officers being treated for stab wounds, 3 others hurt. The Department of Corrections has notified the Massachusetts State Police about what happened here. Now, officials have not yet said what the full extent of these injuries look like. Again, still very early. We're waiting to learn more information. But that is the latest live here in Lancaster tonight. I'm Kirsten Glavin, NBC 10 Boston.
So that's the most breaking news as it goes right now. But there's another side to this story, right? So a few months ago, on January 25th, 2024, the union made a statement saying that the closure of MCI Concord would put officers at risk, right? So let me go to this. I'm going to read you the report that they wrote. Now, this is the building of a narrative right here. It's bad service. So are you guys getting bad service on my end? I'm sorry if you guys aren't catching this correctly. So let me just read it, because there's really nothing I could do at this time about the service. So the Massachusetts Corrections Officers Federated Union is protesting the closure of MCI Concord, contending that it will put officers' safety at risk. The executive board feels that the closing of MCI Concord or any other prison will burden our already violent and dangerous prisons. The union executives announced in a press release, "We are witnessing extreme and daily violence at SBCC after the closing of Walpole. The 146-year-old prison, the oldest running men's prison in the state, will be transferred, its population and correctional officers, to other facilities over the next few months. It is expected to shutter by the summer." Governor Maura Healey said Wednesday that closing the prison will mean a cost savings of about $16 million for the state and reflects a downturn in correctional facilities across the state. MCI Concord now operates at about 50% capacity. With over 300 inmates at Concord, our classification system will undoubtedly need reclassify many of these and other inmates statewide. Union's executive board wrote, "This will potentially place higher risk inmates in lower level facilities, thus placing our officers' safety at risk." We're going to get into all this information, right, guys? So I have insight that nobody has, right? I've been through these situations. I've seen how they play out within the system, and it's not pretty what happens to us. And the people that didn't do anything are going to be the ones that are affected the most. I mean, when it comes to getting sentenced and the time that they're facing, the inmates that, you know, committed this situation, they're going to be hit pretty hard. But we ask that the governor, public safety secretary, and DOC commissioner to halt any plans to close Concord until a comprehensive plan is in place. It continued. It's easier for the governor and her staff to cut, reduce, and eliminate state programs and facilities. But the true test of leadership and management comes with solutions and answers to those cuts, which has been conspicuously absent from the administration. This closing will no doubt place our officers throughout the Commonwealth in grave danger. This marks the second prison shutdown in the state. Back in April 2022, the state began the process of shutting down MCI Cedar Junction Walpole. Okay, this is the first report of many that kind of paints a narrative that they need funds in order to protect the correctional officer population, that the inmates that are in a maximum security facility will be somehow, I don't know, sent out of the maximum security facility. That doesn't make sense because Concord is a medium security facility. All the inmates there will get sent to other mediums. So there will be no dispersion of maximum security inmates to medium security facilities. So that is a narrative that they're painting, right? Now, I'm not going against correctional officers. I'm not going against anybody. I'm just painting the facts as they stand, right? So this is the painting. This is the first part of the narrative, right? Then there's another one, masslive.com. They submitted a report March 15, 2020. Violence, abuse, and retaliation. How a toxic culture within the walls of Souza Baranowski Correctional Center has turned it into a powder keg, right? So this is what happens with inside the prison, right? First, they will change the rules and regulations inside the prison, right? They'll start letting things run loosely because they know if they do certain things, it will bring about chaos and destruction within inside the prison, right? You can only oppress people so much before they start rebelling, right? So they changed the max back in 2023 into a super max facility on the north end and then a medium-ish type facility, which is really the max, even worse than it was before, right? So they have less privileges on the so-called regular maximum security end, and they have almost no privileges at all on the super max end, where you're walking around in bobos. You have no electronics. They don't call it a disciplinary segregation unit, so therefore they can keep people over there for many, many years and not face criticism for keeping people in a segregation unit, which is, in my opinion, a play of the law, and it puts inmates at risk. It puts officers at risk. So if we want to focus on the true problem, we got to focus on the way we're treating the inmates, right? Inmates don't just say, fuck it, I'm at my wit's end right now and I'm going to stab a CO right now because they're trying to break up a fight. There has to be severe oppression on these inmates, right? So what happens is you put somebody in prison for decades and decades of time, right? And then you oppress the fuck out of them when they're in there, right? They have zero privileges. They have zero anything that could be positive to lose in their life, right? So they start, you know, the oppression hits, right? You start losing your canteen. You start losing your privileges to go to the yard and the gym, which is what it's like on the north side. You do not leave your unit ever. You're stuck there. You don't go to the yard. You don't go to the gym. They hardly ever have chapel. They hardly ever have any type of movement at all. I don't even think they go to the library, right? So these people are stuck on this unit. They come out 4 cells at a time, right? So you're only getting recreation with the maximum amount of number of people out at a time is supposed to be 8 people. But most of the time it's about 6 people. And when you come out, you have bobos. You have about a half an hour to move around on the unit, right? So thank you, Ant. I appreciate that big time, bro. Much love. Anybody who wants to support the channel, bro, please do. I'm out here putting in work for y'all. But, you know, that's not what this is about today. So anyways, right, they're feeling this a huge amount of stress, oppression. They have tons of lockdown time. It's a 23-hour lockdown unit. So you're locked down 23 hours of the day, every single day, right? So now a fight breaks out on the unit, right? People are fighting. The COs are treating the inmates like they're dirt on the bottom of their sneaker. When they come around doing their rounds, They're messing with them over curtains, clotheslines, you know, stupid little things, right? And all those little things add up to a big thing when it comes down to it, right? Because you know you lose your property, you have no security in the things that you own. Whereas before they changed this into the super max end and in the regular max end, you had property, you had, you know, your street sneakers, and you had your tablet, and you had your TV and shit, right? But what happened was, what changed it was when that Officer Fuller, right? Officer Fuller created a hostile environment on N2, right? Or sorry, N1. N1. They changed the whole prison around and they put the feed-ins down below. So thank you, Brockchild, bro. Bet. So they put all the feed-in guys, the serious dudes on the bottom of the prison. So they had all the N2, P2, G2s. They moved it downstairs and had the feed-in blocks underneath the prison where all these so-called aggressive guys go. And you know, he's down there. They moved him from a medium security facility and put him in a maximum security facility and put him in charge of the unit, right? So when they put him in charge of this unit, he's coming from a place where you could talk down to the inmates. You could treat them with zero respect, right? And usually they'll take it on the chin because why? They have something to lose, something worth losing, right? And Gardner, where he came from, Gardner, right? He was able to move around that place like a boss. He could treat people however he wanted to treat them, and he has mental illnesses. So the way he wants to treat them is like he's got the power. He can tell you what to do. He's a boss and he's not afraid of anybody, right? So this dude comes to the max with this attitude, the wrong attitude to have. Yo, thank you, Irish brother. So when he gets to the max and he starts acting crazy like this, walking around disrespecting people, the reason why that fight happened in the max with the Spanish guys and those three officers is because he called that man a spick. Now, that is a racial slur against Spanish people. And he said, you spicks think you could do whatever you want on this unit. Like you run this unit. You don't run shit. So the dude he was talking to, boom, what do you think he's going to do, right? You just called him basically the N-word or the C-word when you're talking to a white guy. You called him the worst thing you could possibly call this man, right? So he punches him in the face after years, 2 years that guy was running around that unit treating inmates like they did not deserve to live or breathe the same air that he lived and breathed in. So I've had my own personal interactions with this dude Fuller, right? He was, you know, searching my cell and being a little dummy, right? And now I don't wish this on anybody. I don't wish violence on anybody. But when you walk around and you act stupid, fights will happen, even with people that don't want to have these things happen to them. Like myself, I wanted to just chill and go home, but this dude kept on just being a little, you know, punk to me, right? So I called him out. I called him over in the corner. I said, let's get this, bro. You know what I mean? Fuck that shit, bro. And he bitched up and he didn't want to fight me. But when it comes down to it, you know, there is people that don't really care that they're on camera. They're doing life sentences. And your best bet is to treat these men with respect. Treat them like they have dignity, like they have feelings, like they have emotions, like they have dreams and they have wants and needs, just like every single human being on planet Earth. When you take that away from somebody, you take away their humanity. You take away their you know, their feelings of security and their manhood. You put them on a level lower than an animal. And let me tell you something, that the dogs in the dog program in the mediums will get medical care, treatment, and better treatment from these officers and from the administration than the inmates themselves. If they have a little boo-boo on their paw, which I respect, they should get treated. They get their little things wrapped up, right? When an inmate has that, write a sick slip. We might see you in a month. Drink some water, take some Tylenol, go fuck yourself, right? That's what the deal is, bro. So you take a man's humanity away from them like that, you oppress them and oppress them and oppress them. You keep pushing for more reform, and in their eyes, reform means more security, more rules, more regulations that will hold you down and pin you down, right? If they had it their way, they would have shot collars around every inmate's neck so that when they acted in a way that they did not agree with, they would just hit the shot collar, right? We are not slaves. And yes, some people are there for violent crimes and crimes against women and crimes against, things that maybe not everybody agrees with. And I don't agree with a lot of them either, right? I don't agree with committing crimes on citizens. I don't agree with committing crimes on women. And but this is the type of thing you're going to see within a prison. Those are the types of things you should see within a prison, right? I guess. I'm not for prison, but when it comes to this situation right here, you have to treat people like they're humans, because if you don't, you will get an animalistic response. So, you get this whole atmosphere of oppression. Boom, they're weighting you down, right? They're making it very hard for you to get off the maximum end. To get off the maximum end, it will take years, right? So you can sit over there and you keep fighting. You write letters to the administration saying, look, I've behaved for so long. I haven't caught any tickets. Like, can you please move me to the medium end? And, give me a chance over there, blah, blah, blah. If they respond to you, usually it's because they're actually going to move you. But most of the time, they don't respond at all. They treat you like you're not there. You could go on for years, as in my buddy Kicker, that's been on my channel several times. He's been over there now for 4.5 years, right? He's only had 2 major tickets, right? There's no good reason to keep somebody walking around in Bob Barker Bobos for 4.5 years with no access to the yard or the gym or the library or any type of, positive influence or way to, live your life within the prison and become emotionally balanced and use these different tools and outlets within the prison to build a healthier lifestyle, even if it is within the prison, right? So there was a fight the other night, which is what we're talking about now, right? The 2 corrections officers, they were going to break up a situation, and somebody there that was involved in the situation turned around and started stabbing the officers. Now, before you jump to any conclusions, we have no idea why they actually stabbed them. They're going to get the body cam footage. They're looking into it now. And I'll read you the report that is on the Google right now about the situation. So I'm going to first read you something that kind of builds this narrative within this situation, right? So they wrote this report on March 15, 2020. It says violence and abuse and retaliation, how a toxic culture within the walls of the Souza Baranowski Correctional Center has turned it into a powder keg. Within the walls of the Souza Baranowski Correctional Center, a groundswell of issues is percolating. On January 10th, those issues came to a head. They're talking about that big Spanish fight where they jumped the cops, and they said it was a gang fight against the cops, where Officer Fuller called the inmate. Officer Fuller called the inmate a spick. And that's what sparked this whole situation off, which nobody spoke about on mainstream media, because the only narrative you will get is the officer's narrative. Because what they do when something like this happens is they shut the phones off, they shut your tablets off so you can't email people, and they close down any outlet you might have to the media. So therefore, they lock the narrative down, and they get on the news, and they do post conferences, and they tell you what their side of the story and what might happen, and then the news will second all that, right? Violent inmates within the prison system are causing trouble, blah blah blah. And I'm going to play a video that really speaks to this right after I read this, right? And we're going to build this narrative together so you can see that it isn't all the way they say it is ever. You know what I mean? So corrections officers were viciously assaulted by several inmates. One officer was hospitalized with a head injury, and 2 others were injured when they tried to help. The incident has prompted officials to look closely at safety at the maximum security facility, while the Union for the Correctional Officers and inmates alike have both complained of serious problems within the prison walls. Psychologically and physical abuse, public health concerns, and institutional mismanagement were a few of the allegations that plagued the correctional center following the attack and subsequent multi-week lockdown. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened after that attack on that multi-week lockdown, and it will fucking shock you. It's like a third world country. They were walking around there with their khaki pants on, like a military, with their guns, their beanbag guns, with big grins, shit-eating grins on their faces, while they brutalized us in a major way, and that is not an exaggeration. I was one of the inmates who was in that lawsuit who they came to my cell because my brother was involved in an incident just prior to this situation. And they blamed me because he's my twin brother and I look just like him. So they came in there, dragged me into a medical room, told the nurses to leave. And then they proceeded to beat the shit out of me and say, this is for your brother. This is for your brother. While I said, you punch like a bitch. But at the same time, right? Like I said, I'm not coming at the officers. These motherfuckers need to work in there, right? They're employed by the state in order to govern the prison. What I am coming at is the way they go about it and the fact that they live with us in that prison and our well-being contributes to their well-being, right? So if we're doing well, then they are also doing well. If you treat inmates with respect, they will treat you with respect back, right? It is like that. That is the way it is within there. You're talking to an inmate that was in there. I know exactly what the mindset is. It is not like, oh, fuck these dudes, right? I'm going to smash them out anytime I get the chance, whatever. It doesn't even matter. You're going to catch major time for that, right? So you're going to pick and choose those battles very, very particularly. Even when you think it's necessary, you still will question it. You must think about that situation before you do anything about it because you know they're not going to believe your side of the story. They're going to take their word for it, and you are going to be the one that is fucked, right? So, and I'm sorry for swearing on here. This is one of those situations where I feel seriously emotionally attached to it. So that's just how I feel right now, right? Let me finish this, and then I'm going to play you that video, bro. You're going to be like, what the fuck, dude, right? There's a toxic culture at the prison, said State Senator James Eldridge. Oh, yeah, James Eldridge made many visits to that prison during this time, right? So I talked to James Eldridge myself when I was in the HSU after that beating. So he came to my door. He had talked to my mother, and he stopped at every single door talking to people, figuring out what was going on inside of there and the things that he could do to maybe help, right? And when a state senator takes notice of something that's going on within those walls, you know damn well that it's serious and that it might not be all our fault, which it wasn't. Because like I said, if you oppress people and give them nothing to lose, they will act like they have nothing to lose, right? Even if they don't feel like it, right? You get that feeling in you like you have nothing to live for. You're very depressed and you see everything as very negative, right? And you have almost nothing in your cell because they're keeping you on a super maximum end where no TVs and nothing in 23-hour lockdown a day with a cellmate, by the way. You're stuck in there with somebody else, and maybe you don't get along with your cellmate, and then you come out on the tier, and the cop straight calls you a bitch in front of the whole unit or something, which never happened to me, but I've seen it happen to other people that didn't deserve it and that weren't bitches, and that's what causes issues because you can't allow that to happen. But that's not even the only situation that could happen. They could come in your cell, rip your clothesline down, which is exactly what happened right before that situation with the Spanish dudes and the white dudes, right? Officer Fuller did his round, went in that cell of that inmate he called the spick, and did rip his clothesline down and put his clothes in the toilet. So that's what the argument started over. He said, why did you do that, bro? What are you doing, man? Why are you acting like such a fool, bro? And then boom, he said, oh, you spicks think you run shit, right? Boom. And then that's what started the problem. So when something happens like this, bro, right, you cannot just automatically think like, oh, snap judgment, it's their fault. It's the inmate's fault. It's not always the inmate's fault, man. And it's not always something that we did to spark something off. We're usually, in 99% of the time, we are responding and reacting. And, maybe our reactions aren't always on point, but I'll be damned if I say that they aren't very predictable. And when it comes to predictable, they're masters at predicting it. Let me tell you something. They have scientists, dude, social scientists, social economic scientists that will, yeah, bro, bump it up. Share this video, share it to other people, and we'll get that 7 more viewers on time, bro. Like, that's what people have to do. Hit that little share button and then come right back in, because that's how we get viewers. That's how we get people on the live and watching. So anyways, right, so let me finish reading this little report, and I'll show you exactly what they said, bro, right? And this is part of building the narrative, which somebody else right here, this guy went against the narrative and started speaking the truth, because you can only lie for so long. Mainstream media is not all dummies and suckers. right? So there's a toxic culture at the prison, said Senator James Eldridge, whose legislative district includes the prison, which sits on the Lancaster-Shirley line. Prisoners also have a right to be treated with dignity and respect behind the wall. Public officials advocating for the rights of inmates accused Governor Charlie Baker of not properly overseeing the prison, and multiple inmates have lodged a civil lawsuit against the Massachusetts Department of Correction and the Souza Baranowski correctional officials. The maximum security correctional center has a long history of violence. A 2017 riot that led to the destruction of a housing unit, and former New England Patriots star Aaron Hernandez committed suicide inside a cell in the facility. A 72-year-old prisoner serving a life sentence for killing his own mother was also beaten to death. There, in 2014, a correctional officer was stabbed by a former inmate inside of the prison in 2012. By the way, I was there for every single one of these incidents, and if anybody has any questions on these incidents, I will be happy to answer whatever you have to ask. A video of the incident shows prisoners surrounding and assaulting a prison guard. An inmate near the officer appears to punch the guard in the face, as other prisoners join in on the attack. All of the officers were taken to the hospital. One suffered head trauma and badly broken nose. Another was hospitalized with a broken jaw and vertebrae in his neck, according to court records from the Department of Correction. Inmates tried to drag one of the officers into a cell, but he broke free. Only one of the guards has returned to work, authorities said in late February. I have had inmates tell me that they are running the facility, in quote, right? Not the DOC. Stephen Kenway, superintendent of Souza Baranowski, wrote in an affidavit last month, 23 prisoners were identified initially as combatants, according to the department, and several inmates were transferred to other facilities following the attack. Let me tell you a little something about Stephen Kenway. Stephen Kenway was the superintendent of a black site prison somewhere in the Middle East, where he was accused of torturing inmates, waterboarding, and everything that goes against the Geneva Convention, right? And somehow he got the superintendent's job in the max, and he yesed everybody to death. He would come to every single inmate's door, hear them out, say, yeah, I got you, and never do anything about anything, right? While he started changing laws and rules and putting people in place that would agitate the facility. And as soon as he became superintendent and Steven Silva, the prior superintendent, left, things started to take a turn for the worst. And this is when several COs were assaulted, one after the other. And it goes to show that during Steven Silva's entire reign, it seemed so laid back that I at times thought that this might be a soft prison, because he had that shit running so smoothly. And now I didn't like Steven Silva a whole shitload, right? I'm sorry, was it Steven Silva? Yeah, anyways, right? So I didn't like this dude Silva much. So, I mean, it's just his personality-wise, he was a dick. But he had the prison running so smooth. There was no officer assaults. People actually jeffed with the cops. Like, the cops were actually vibing and getting along with us, letting us do our thing and run our own blocks the way we're supposed to run them, because the two COs at the desk, they cannot run an entire block. It's up to us to take care of the unit, and they sit back and watch and make sure no one escapes or kills each other, right? That is their job. When they come in and agitate, so when a superintendent develops rules and regulations and implements them within the system, it tells them they have no choice but to go and implement these rules and regulations. Boom, agitation. Tell them they can't have lines up to dry their clothes. Rip those lines down. Rip the stuff out of their back windows. You know, show them your boss. These are the things that this dude Kenway is saying. He's saying, take control of your units. Run it with an iron fist. Do this, do that. The COs are saying, we don't want to do this, Kenway, because this is going to cause issues. And some of them refuse to follow those rules. Now, COs are not all bad. COs have been known to come into work and go home. But when they have a job or an employee obligation to their job, such as the superintendent forcing them to do certain things, then there you have it. Then it becomes an agitation issue where the inmates are like, fuck you cops. And then you got the cops thinking the same thing back. And that's what causes the miscommunication there. But when that's not happening, we get along in a slightly just go along, get along type of way, right? Which is good, bro. That's what a healthy facility will look like. Inmates going to their programs and doing their things and coming back to the block and not having to worry about if they left something real small and stupid and petty out, like a clothesline or something, and getting a ticket and lugged to the hole for it, or missing their door after chow when they're closing them too fast and they get lugged to a segregation unit and they can't get off for years. That's what causes tension. When the cops are flowing with the cons, boom, you won't see inmate and officer assaults happening, dude, right? So that's just the things, and maybe people don't understand them as well as I'm speaking them, but that's those little things that really truly matter. 23 prisoners were identified initially as combatants. Okay, 16 incarcerated men were indicted by Worcester District Attorney Joseph Early's office on February 20th for their involvement in the assault. A grand jury handed up a total of 109 indictments to the prisoners. 109 indictments. How many indictments do you think were handed down for the beatings that they gave us after? And I'll tell you about those beatings they gave us after. They were vicious, vicious beatings as revenge. There was not one of us that actually did something that was aggressive towards these cops. We knew what they came in on. We knew what time they were on. So we started being like, okay, let them just do their shit because we got to get through this. And we have no control or power once they get us in handcuffs, right? So you just have to kind of just go with the flow. But they were taking advantage. They didn't give a fuck. They said, get to the fucking back yourself, come in and pistol whip you with the end of their gun. Let the dogs latch onto your leg and rip big chunks out of your leg, right? If you read the paperwork on the lawsuits that were filed against the Department of Corrections, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. And maybe I'll do a video about that, right? Because that seems like something we need to talk about. Jennifer, unfortunately, they think they are superior over you guys until they see you on the streets. Then their whole attitude changes. When they see us on the streets, usually it's much respect. Hey, man, I see you doing good, blah, blah, blah. As soon as you put those jumpsuits on and you go into the prison, it's get in your fucking cell and stop missing your fucking door, right? That's the difference, right? Is that when you go in, you lose your dignity, which is not part of the sentence, right? So Kenway and others have said the assault on guards was deliberate. Yeah, it was deliberate because the guy called the kid a spick. Of course it was deliberate. But what else was deliberate was the way he was running the prison in order to deliberately cause chaos, in order to deliberately raise funds and awareness of so-called violence within the prison walls. The assault on guards was deliberate, vicious, and gang-related. It had nothing to do with gangs. As a matter of fact, if you look at the SDG records of those inmates involved, in my personal relationship with these inmates, is that 80% of them weren't even in a gang. I mean, not 80%. There was a good chunk, maybe 10 guys out of 18 or 22, but most of them were just dudes living on the block. They were not in the same gang, if anything. So that therefore takes away the gang-related situation. These kids were not all in the same gang, right? They were in different little gangs, right? This was just us versus them. They had enough of the oppression. They had enough of this one officer coming in and calling them punks and disrespecting them and doing everything that goes against our own personal code of respect within those walls. And therefore, he got the worst beating of his life and now lives in fear in a medium security facility where he got put back down into, because they had realized, and now they knew the whole time, that he was not built for that prison and he shouldn't have been up there with the way his mental health was. He's had serious mental health issues, right? So I'm going to play this video for you guys real quick. This one explains it a little bit better, I feel, because, there's a few videos that go down the line of this during this incident. So you'll get, every few hours, there's another one that comes out. This one here, I feel like is a little bit more inclusive.
It's attacked corrections officers at a maximum security prison in Lancaster. Breaking right now, several officers were rushed to the hospital from the Souza Baranowski Correctional Center, and 2 of them have stab wounds. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Lisa Hughes.
And I'm David Wade. WBZ's Tammy Mutasa is live at the prison facility. And Tammy, what do we know so far?
David and Lisa, tonight it was just chaos. I just spoke with the union president, and he told me that he is furious that 2 corrections officers were attacked and stabbed by some inmates. Now, right now, you can see there is a police response outside the Souza Baranowski Correction Center. And here's what we know so far. The Massachusetts Department of Corrections says the assaults happened just after 6 p.m. inside the maximum security prison. Officials say the 2 corrections officers suffered several stab wounds, and 3 more officers were hurt while responding to that prisoner attack. In total, 5 corrections officers were rushed to nearby hospitals. DOC says the prison is now secure and the incident is under investigation. But I just spoke to the Massachusetts Corrections Officers Federated Union president, and he says he's very disappointed. They have been pleading with the DOC to make the maximum security prison safer for officers, and he says nothing has changed.
It is an unsafe prison, and we've been trying everything we can we've been pleading with this department to act on something and to get things changed around here, and they just refuse to do anything. So we've been trying to bring awareness to these people here at the Department of Corrections, and it's just fallen on deaf ears. The things that we've been asking about as a union standpoint is that to keep this prison safe.
Back out here live, officials say the incident is still under investigation. It's also unclear how the inmates got weapons. And of course, as of this hour, we still don't have any word on how those officers are doing. But of course, everybody out here is sending their best wishes to those officers. We still don't know exactly what their conditions are, but we do know that they were taken to the hospital. For now, live in Lancaster, Tammy Matassa, WBZ News.
Yeah, and hoping for the best for them. Tammy, thank you.
So this is,
We are going to get to that press conference. He's talking about the workers that were stabbed.
So this is what happens, right? When this situation goes down, right? Now you got the administration saying that we need funds. This is what we've been trying to do. We got, violence going on inside the prison and shit like that right now. So in my mind, I think, was this allowed? Was this deliberately pushed on? Was this deliberately built up inside the walls in order to create this situation so that they can get more workers? They said they were down 1,000 workers. They were down 30% on their employee rates since that riot in Dartmouth County Correctional Center last year or the year before, right? So boom, now you got a narrative showing up on the screen. So you got one building from the time that they put out that first report that I had talked about earlier in this video until the time of now, where you got 4 or 5 different press conferences where they're talking about, oh, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, now this is happening, and boom, you're building the narrative. So you can say each time, like, oh, see, we said this is what's happening, and you guys aren't listening, and we need this, right? But this is just an opportunity for them to build off these things, right? This is not a legit fucking situation where people are honestly pleading out for help because they don't know what's going inside the prison. They don't know how to control it. They know exactly how to control it. Treat people with respect. Give them something to lose, and they will act with respect right back at you. So that's pretty much how that is gonna, like how I feel it should be explained. Because I don't know, man. Let me answer some of this stuff in the chat real quick, guys, and see how everybody's doing. Nobody wants that job as a CO. It's like going to jail every day. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a certain type of person to come into a prison and take a job as a correctional officer. Some of those guys go in there and they see the camaraderie between each other. They see how they're vibing with each other and they're brothers in a certain type of war. You got the brothers inside the walls that are there that are convicted of crimes. And then you got the brothers in blue that have each other's back behind the desk. And I got a lot of respect for a type of person that will have their brother's back, no matter who you are, right? Someone who is loyal and shows love to their brothers, right? But when you take that to a whole nother level and use the fact that they are brothers and they do have each other's back in order to push your own nonsense onto the inmate population, therefore you're using your power in a way that you should not be using it, right? So they're abusing power. That is an 8th Amendment violation of the Constitution, cruel and unusual punishment, and it does not fit the bill. It does not fit the crime that they are punished for. That is not part of the sentence, is being disrespected and treated like an animal within the prison system, right? That is an extra add-on of officers who do not know how to control and use the power that they have in order to really do what they're supposed to do and maintain control within the prison. Maintaining control within the prison can be very simple, and they have it down to a science. So when things start going out of control and popping off like this, it is not because they don't know what is going on. They have this shit set up so rigidly, right? They have social economic scientists that balance all these different levels of security and things like that within the prison, and can tell you and judge what things will happen as they happen. You know what I mean? So if you do this, this will happen. It's a reactive thing. You know what I mean? So if you action for action, action for reaction, every action has a reaction, and they know these things. They are very aware of what's going on inside that prison. So that is all a false narrative, dude, right? There's no way that they didn't understand what was happening and what it was leading up to. The extreme oppression that they have going on within that prison. They do not need more oppression and more disrespect. What they need is to lighten up and give guys a reason to behave. Because if you give them a reason to behave, they will fucking behave. And I'm sorry to say this, but they are fucking wrong. They're totally wrong for this. And they at what end? Like, what is the end? When does it end? At what point does it end? Do they keep going until we're wearing shock collars on our necks and they could just zap us when we say anything? Like, we can't talk. Like, there is no end to the security restrictions that they want, right? But there's always going to be a means for violence. So the more you oppress, the more violent people will be when they have the opportunity to be violent. As far as how they get the knives within the prison, the knives are made, man. You can make them from whatever. And if people feel like they need to have knives, then by all means, you should have one. Because if you're caught without one and someone else has one, God bless you. You will be very hurt. You might die. And that's a very big possibility, especially within the walls, right? So, the guard, he really is, the guards, they're not all animals. Like, I want to get on here and express my anger. I want to get on here and say how I hate them all. And like, they did me dirty for so fucking long. But if we don't all attempt to have understanding for each other's standpoint, then therefore we're missing a communication. We're having a communication breakdown that may lead to a never-ending cycle of more security measures. We need to first be the ones that are bigger in order to understand what they're going through, so that maybe we could reach them on their level, as long as they are willing to do the same thing. Now, if they're not willing to do the same thing, and then it's most likely just have to be war. You know what I mean? And I would not call for that by any means. I feel like, violence is totally against my nature at this point. I want everybody to be at peace. I want people to live in harmony and love each other and put God first. But when it comes down to this, bloodshed might be the only way to get respect. And that is the only way in my, experience. It's the only way that I have learned in order, to get the cops to respect you and show you that level of respect that you deserve, is to, show them that you're not playing, right? And that is what these guys are feeling at this point in time. They feel like they need to show them they're not playing. So there, now, boom, you get in a situation like this, and the cop might have come in and did some dirty shit, bro. Like, who knows really what happened during that situation? They're saying they're going to review the body cam footage, right? Well, there's a reason why this hasn't come out yet. Usually when there's a situation as serious as this, they will release some footage right away just to show that the DOC is not at fault, or to kind of, control the narrative. There has to be something behind that narrative that they're not showing us right now. You know what I mean? So we're not seeing the full picture, and they're going to control the narrative as long as they possibly can. What's going on inside the prison right now is they have everybody locked down. Nobody's getting showers, probably not getting phone calls, probably not getting emails, and they're probably getting shaken down with their property ripped apart. And now these are all the people that are not involved in this situation. So everybody that was actually involved in this situation is shipped to a different facility at this point. They're either in Shirley Medium Hole, or they're in Old Colony Hole, or they're in another state or something. They shipped all the guys that actually did something out of the facility, and they're going to wait to be put in DDU, which is a long-term detention facility for people who have done violent crimes with knives and knees or elbows or feet. When they're in the facility, they get in fights or whatever, and then they get sent to DDU for a long period of time. But as far as they go, they're gone, right? It's only people that are still there are people that had nothing to do with the situation and now are going to receive further oppression and further violence from the officers, which can only create another cycle of further violence towards them, because it doesn't end. People are always going to have retaliation on their mind, especially when you do something very dirty to them. You could take their pictures of their dead mother and throw them away, and boom, you got a very serious issue on your hands. Maybe they don't have another picture of their mother that passed away, God rest her soul, right? Those are the situations. That's the type of thing that they like to do in order to incite people, right? And if the administration is allowing them to do these things and not take control over their inmates, or not take control over their staff and their correctional officers and tell them, look, man, you guys got to fall back, ease up in these areas, let them do this and that, and see if we could pad the situation and give them a little leeway and find out what happens. Instead, they're like, fuck these guys, put them all on lockdown, don't give them any showers, don't give them this, don't give them that, and boom, you got another situation on your hands. Now guys are angry, they didn't do anything wrong, everybody else is gone, and they're sitting in their cells rotting, sweating, and not getting showers. Not probably their food portions are super tiny, and they're fucking with the food because they won't have inmates in the kitchen to cook for everybody. They got the CPOs, which are like the rec officers, and the caseworkers on the unit that usually do like paperwork for the inmates and stuff like that, and tell them what their statuses are and shit. Those people are who's making their food right now. And if they feel like they're in a situation because of violence towards them, then they're going to go with their officers and give you shitty ass portions of food. Boom, now you got another situation. Now guys are throwing this shit out the door, they're flooding out, and they're throwing stuff everywhere, and boom, now everybody's saying, look, they're violent, they're throwing stuff around, they're animals, look how they're acting now, right? They just stabbed 2 of our officers, now they're throwing trash all over the tier. It's totally out of control. But look at the situation for what it is and stop judging and being so quick to judge. They did something and now they're getting the reaction they knew would happen. So who's really at fault here? You know what I mean? Just something to think about, right? Yeah, they antagonize you in such a way that you have to respond to them. You know what I mean? You have to deal with the situation, because if other inmates see you getting bitched off by a cop, they're going to do the same thing to you. They don't care whether it's a CO or not. They just look at you like you just took a major short. And boom, now the officers know that. They know what they're doing when they do these things, but they take those same, they act like they want to act like us. You know what I mean? In certain situations, in a lot of situations, they grew up in our same neighborhoods. They grew up in the same manner and means as us, but they have a whole different set of power. Now, they have a badge. So if they act the same way we act and get the same responses that we do to each other in response to their actions, then a whole different punishment comes about. So it's not fair for them to be coming in there and acting unprofessional. They should have professional standards for these guards. I feel like they shouldn't have guards in there that are under 36 years old. I feel like every single guard should be plus 35 years old, 36 and above, because younger officers go in there and they clout chase just like the convicts who come in there. They come in there and they try to make a reputation as a tough ass cop. Now, the officer that was on YouTube talking about the situation, I know him very well. He's actually not a bad cop, but I guess he got some status within the facility. You guys want me to see if I could find the video for you of this officer that I know? Leave a comment in the comment section. But what happened after that situation with the Spanish guys and the COs, right? So first, the situation happened with my brother, right? My brother got into a fight with 2 of the officers after many years, 4 years or more of them traumatizing him. Ryan's got a reactive nature. He's very reactional. He's a very great person as a human being. He's the type of kid that if you treat him right, he will be the best behaved convict in that whole place, but a convict nonetheless. You know what I mean? He's a solid ass dude. He's not gonna, live by inmate rules, but he's gonna live by convict rules, but with a lot of respect for the people who give him respect, right? But he's the type of kid also who, if you treat him with disrespect, he will react, but only in a way that's not going to be punished by law. So fighting the move team and, you know, doing the destruction, whatever it is that he did in order to get his message across without catching cases, until they pushed him to the outer limits. They kept on taking his TVs that he would get. My mother would spend hundreds of dollars on a new TV. They'd come in, take it, and throw it away. What is the purpose behind that? Why can't he have the TV that he bought off someone on the unit? There's no fucking reason for it, other than they have a stick up their butt and they know they can get a reaction out of them, right? So they do these things with reaction in mind, knowing that their day will be a little bit more lively. They like the recreation. They like causing chaos. They like busting people's balls because they want their day to go by with a little bit of action. They don't want to have to sit behind the desk all day and do nothing. Now, that's not all the cops. That is not all of them at all. Matter of fact, I know many of those COs up there, very respectful. They just want to go home at the end of the day. They will have their brothers' backs at the end of the day if it comes down to it, but they also are going to be, you know, they're not going to be causing issues and making you come out of pocket. But they will back up their officers who do that shit, which makes them just as guilty. I think that if an officer is noticed by his fellow officers acting in a manner that he is looking for responses, then he should be reprimanded and put out there in a professional manner, dude, right? Yeah, they do. They love drama, bro, right? Shout out to my brother. You know, Jennifer says, even on my visits, they let everyone through security fast, and mine took twice as long, right? For twice as long, telling me it's for my safety. Like, really? So they definitely overuse their authority just to make him mad. And that is absolutely true. So her husband is a well-known convict within those walls, right? Has a lot of power within the walls. I mean, technically we'll say it's not power, but it's you know, he has sway. You know what I mean? He has he's a influential type of person, and that's how they view him, someone with power. So they like to degrade him and make him feel small in order to assert their own power, but they don't have to do that, right? These are the little things that add up and cause bigger situations, right? So why do them? It's a power issue, bro. They want to assert their power. They want to show people their boss. But there's no reason to show people their boss. We know their boss, bro. They have the badge. They have the control. If we do anything, we're going to get fucking smoked, right? So why act that way? Because it's an ego thing. It's something that all humans have within them. And if you give it food and feed it, boom, it's going to blow up. It's like the experiment they did in Sweden back in the day. They had college students, right? One set of college students was inmates and the other set was COs. They let these students have the same power as the inmates and COs would have within a real prison setting. They left them in there, I think, for a 3-week period of time. And during that 3-week period of time, those students that were considered COs started acting like they had you know, power over these other people within a 3-week period of time. The transition was so fast that it's worth stating here that this is it's not working. The power balance within there is not working. They need to have some type of restraint, some type of check. And when they said that Governor Baker was at fault for not running the prison correctly, this guy got on the TV in front of the whole world and said, yeah, there's going to be accusations of assault. There's going to be things like that, but it's fake. We got money for that, right? Like who's got money for that? The taxpayers, right? So you don't care if your officers beat up inmates because you'll just pay it out, right? You'll dole it out. Whose money is that? That's something the taxpayers really need to think about. They need to think about the fact that they are paying for these mistakes. They themselves are the ones paying for all this extra security that doesn't need to be had. And it's also just going to lead to more security because the oppression is going to lead to more violence and more calls for that security, right? So this is just a revolving door that nobody needs in their life, right? Please hit the like button. Please hit the share button. Please hit the subscribe button. And let me play another quick. I actually, you know what? Fuck the video. You guys have a pretty good grasp on the situation. Maybe I'll play it for you guys. You guys want to hear it? You guys want to see this video, man? It's an officer that I knew within the prison that made a statement on YouTube right here. Boom. This is one that I know
press
personally.
conference. He's talking about the workers that were stabbed at the Souza Baranowski Correctional Center. Let's listen in.
Okay, we're waiting. We're listening. This is the news, by the way.
Sincere gratitude for the work that they did yesterday during this vicious assault. Our thoughts and prayers are with them and their families as they recover. Just want to let them know that this union and their brothers and sisters stand by them 100% and will support them throughout this endeavor.
Now, this guy, he was a tactical team officer. He's one that served on the tactical team in the prison. So he would move around within the different prisons whenever there was a riot or there's a certain situation where an inmate needed to get moved on, right? He moved up the ranks and good for him, right? But at the same time, you know, he was a tough guy, but, you know, they're going to have each other's backs. Well, we need to have each other's backs too. It shouldn't be an us versus them. We are both living in the same facility, both going through the same shit, right? What's good for us is good for them. And if they don't realize that, then they're just stupid.
Yesterday, you know, there was a vicious attack on 2 officers in a block. Both were stabbed. One got more severe injuries than the other. Was repeatedly stabbed about 12 times. The other was stabbed in the back and the head. Response was initiated. The staff did an excellent job of isolating and containing the situation. Unfortunately, what you have heard is that, you know, several officers did get hurt and did go to local hospitals. 4 of the officers out of the 5 were released. There is one still in serious condition. He does have a punctured lung. He is pretty much in good spirits right now, but he, due to the nature of the events there, he wants the privacy, and we're going to grant him that privacy right now for him. But this has been a systemic problem with this institution right here in the prisons across this Commonwealth. They are unsafe. This union has brought to the attention to this Department of Corrections of the uptick in weapons, the assaults on correction officers, and we've been pleading with this department to
don't get it twisted. They have complete control over these situations, right? Now, they choose to allow these. Now, first of all, let me just tell you this, right? Yeah, we are crafty people, right? We live in a place where you need to be defending yourself, right? So having a weapon is a necessity, right? But for them to say there's an uptick in weapons is a total fallacy. There's been tons of weapons there my entire stay. There's no way there could be more weapons there now than there was before. That is a fucking fallacy, right? They're playing, that's a lie. So, you know, I'm just going to point out the truth.
Take action. We've been asking for tactical units to come in here. The department has many resources to...
They got funds 4 years ago for tactical teams. So that's just another push, right? So they did get some funds to employ more tactical members. They're down 30% on their employee rates for a reason, dude, because the administration doesn't treat their COs with respect.
To facilitate this and to keep this prison safe for staff and inmates. And it seems to be falling on deaf ears lately. We don't know what else to turn to. These are unfortunate events. We've been warning them that this is going to continue to happen until they do something drastic. So it's a sad time right now. I don't have much of updates. The department has not briefed me on anything definitively. So we're kind of in the limbo with just as much as you guys are. We've been asking for a debrief on the situation, and that has not come fruition for us. So it's been very disheartening how they've been reacting to this situation. We did hear that the institution is in a lockdown. We are demanding that it stays in a lockdown until something drastically happens here, or a comprehensive search is conducted in this prison to get the weapons out of here. There's an immense amount of drugs in here.
Let me just tell you something. They've known all these things for so fucking long. And now what they're going to do is use this situation to go and brutalize inmates, trash their cells, and treat every single person in there like they do not have a shred of dignity.
Again, we've been warning this department for over 2 years. 2 years we've been warning them. The unfortunate thing here, this wasn't an isolated attack here. This is an attempted murder on a correctional officer. This union is beyond displeased with the outcome of this. This is uncalled for. An attempted murder on a correctional officer in a facility. This is tough times right now inside these correctional facilities. This is not Hollywood. This is real inside here. These happen every day. This happens every day in these institutions. And I'm glad you came out here to witness this.
To witness what, right? You talk about things that might not be totally true. I know the guy standing behind you on the back right. I know the guy standing behind you on the back left, right? I know everything about these facilities and how they run. I know about their tactics and their antics, right? And I understand their pain. I understand their frustration and their anger. The COs, but he is now part of the administration and therefore part of the problem, right? If he does not take steps to ensure that people are treated with dignity and respect, then he deserves every single fucking thing that comes his way.
Again, we have not gotten any full briefs from the department. They're just refusing to talk to us right now. We're going to try to tour the institution today and see how the rest of the staff are doing. And again, the officers
tour the institution. We know what that means. Rip the shit to pieces and beat people up.
Again, is in serious condition, but stable. We're going to keep him with his privacy right now. The other officers, we're going to check on them following up after today's press conference. And again, we're just very displeased of how this agency is handling the correctional facilities.
As you should be.
I saw this attempted murder. Are you suggesting this was a premeditated act?
Well, yes. And it seemed to be coordinated inside there from what the little intel we have. And again,
they always say this is a premeditated attack. This is for legal purposes only, so they can smoke the people that did it, right? There was no premeditated attack. If it was a premeditated attack, it would have started with the COs. It did not start with the COs. It started with a 2-on-1 inmate fight, and they came to break it up and apparently did something they probably shouldn't have. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they just came to break up the fight and the guy was just fed up with everything that was going on and did what he did. Maybe he was totally in the wrong and he should have never did that. And, you know, I am saying right now, it is wrong. You should not stab anybody. You should not stab COs. You should not stab other inmates, right? Unless they truly, truly deserve it. And in that case, or if you're defending your life. But the thing is that we give them the ammunition. But at the same time, we got to be smarter. We got to figure out a way to beat this thing. We can't just let them get us like this, bro, right? They're framing us. They're controlling the narrative and they're pushing their pencils and they're pushing their agendas so hard. And we're sitting in the prison with no emails and no phone calls. We can't even tell people what we saw or what happened, right? Now, I'm the voice of this fucking maximum security prison. So I am out here and I am doing everything I can in order to get justice, true justice on both sides. I want good conditions for the correctional officers, and I also want good conditions for the convicts in there. Because like I said, it is a two-way street. If we are getting treated good, they are getting treated good. There's no other third way about it. That is a fact, and I've seen it over and over and over again.
And I could see maybe an assault, get somebody getting punched, but somebody getting stabbed 12 times, that's not just to send a warning. That's to kill somebody. 12 times stabbed in the back. He was lucky. He was fortunate. He's fortunate that he survived this attack.
What are these weapons and how do these inmates get access to them?
These are manufactured by just taking apart metal everywhere. These inmates are now on the cost of the taxpayers. They get free tablets. The tablets inside in the facilities now have a
this is exactly what they're gonna do. See this guy right here on the back left? Oh man, he could be a real dick. This guy over here, he'll ride for any dickhead, dude, right? He's not always coming out of pocket himself, and sometimes he could be a nice guy. This guy here, he's all move team, all cop, all that, all day. So what he's going to do now is use this situation in order to oppress us so hardcore that we will wish we were never been born, right? We have to be smarter. We have to beat this somehow. We cannot let them control the narrative like this. And that is what I'm out here trying to fix. but it can't just be all me. They have to agree with me in order for us to get this done. Like I said, it's a communication thing. They have to respect us and we have to respect them. And I understand his pain right now. He just got one of his brothers stabbed, right? But let's not get that twisted. His laws, his regulations, his rules in the commissioner and the superintendents of the prisons, it comes down to the superintendents, right? And I see that he might be the superintendent at this point in time because of the badges that he has right on his label. So he might be the superintendent. He moved on up, right? But this dude was all move team, all cop, right? So he needs to start getting on his knees and praying for understanding and wisdom, as I'm going to get on my knees and pray for that he could see things in a light that is beneficial for everybody.
Metal strip inside the tablets, they're smashing them and creating weapons out of them. We've brought attention to this for over 6 months now, that this has continuously happened. We asked to either get rid of them or change the manufacturer or the vendor that they utilize for this, and it's been falling on deaf ears.
We know that's what refused to.
I don't know that for sure on this one here, but I can tell you the majority of the weapons these are the ones that are easy accessible, that they can just smash their tablets. How they communicate with their loved ones on the outside is they're smashing these tablets and creating these weapons.
Member of the corrections officer.
Dude, hold up.
Yes.
Souza Baranowski.
Bro, let me just kill that right away. They are not smashing the tablets and creating a damn thing out of them, right? Those tablets cost a bunch of money, right? There's no good weapon you can get out of a tablet. There's nothing strong enough to penetrate a piece of person's skin. These weapons come from steel, off a bunk, off a bed, anything like that. That is a fact of nature. And see how they try to spin things, dude? That right there is the reason why I'm on here and I'm getting mad. Don't lie. I'm not on here lying or pushing one way or the other. I'm on here telling you the truth for both sides. Now, they need to live good as well as we need to live good, and you're never going to live good as long as you're on here lying and making us look so fucking stupid, bro.
Correctional Center right now, basically giving us an update on those 5 officers who were, well, 2 of them were stabbed, 3 were hurt responding to the stabbing. 1 stabbed 12 times, Colton, the other stabbed in the back of the head. 1 still in condition in the hospital with a stab wound to the lung, a punctured lung.
Well, and we just heard in some of Alicia's reporting here quickly that the Correctional Officers Union, they've been sounding the alarm of these dozens of these homemade sharpened weapons that have been found inside the prison. And we got a little insight as to what they might be as well.
Yeah, actually, that union member just saying basically these inmates, according to him, he says they get free tablets when they are inmates there, and they're using a metal strip inside those tablets and turning them into weapons. He says this is a systemic problem at prisons across the Commonwealth.
It is a story that we're going to continue to follow all day for you here on NBC Tim Boss.
Let me tell you what the systemic problem is inside of that prison. The systemic problem is the fucking lies and bullshit they're pushing, right? If they were busy trying to make a real change or do something that would actually mean something, then they wouldn't have these fucking situations, bro. Don't get on here talking some bullshit about tablets, dude. Knives are made out of steel off the bed. Nothing that's going into a head or a chest or through some skin is made out of any little strip of metal coming out of that fucking tablet. The tablets are 4 inches long, right? Not to say you can't make a good knife out of it, right? A 4-inch piece, but you can't make a good knife out of anything coming out of that tablet. Those tablets are built for people in prison. They're made with anything in there is aluminum or something very bendy, bro, right? That's them trying to take away a tablet. That's the last thing we had in there. Those are the only good thing we have in there, dude, right? That is so fucking bullshit, bro. Fuck them for that shit, bro. That shit got me so fucking mad, bro. Oh my God, bro. Yo, please, if you're in here, man, there's 26 people in here. There should be at least 26 likes on this, bro. I really hope that they can find some fucking understanding and peace with us as we can find the understanding and peace with them. This is a situation that needs to be fucking controlled. This is a situation that they cannot keep pushing like this. I am so sick to my stomach thinking about what these victims, and when I say victims, I mean inmates now. Because, yeah, those victims got stabbed. They're going to the hospital. They'll recover. What the people inside that prison that didn't do anything wrong are going to be suffering for is a lot longer than them, right? And the pain is going to be so much worse. Mental, and physical pain, right? They're probably going to be going through serious beatings, losing all their property, getting things broken and smashed. And I can only see them sweeping the facility and taking away their only line of communication and their only line of stress relief, which is those tablets, which accumulate to 0 weapons in that facility. There is not one single weapon made out of that tablet unless it's by a mentally ill inmate who couldn't hurt a fly, because that is the only fucking people that are making something out of a tablet, bro. What a fucking shame this all is, dude. Right? Oh, man, bro. Wow. Wow, bro. Just wow, bro. I mean, I have no other fucking words for it, bro. I'm going to play a song on the way out, brother. I love everybody who showed up tonight, man. We hit 29 people. 29 likes should be on that fucking thumbs up, bro. Hit that thumbs up. Hit those hundreds and hearts on the way out, brother. Yo, during everybody, you know, that's gonna stick around. This song's gangster, bro. I love this fucking song, bro. I played it last night, but there's more people here and I want to play it again. Yo, actually, you know what? I'm gonna play booze. So hit the hearts and hundreds, man. That's what boosts the algorithm for me, bro. I'm trying to put everything on blast for us. Show them what time it is for our side. You know what I mean? Not let the lies that are propagated by the Department of Corrections fly without any type of response whatsoever. That's a shame that this is going on. We cannot let them take the tablets. Everybody who's sitting in that joint right now, man, I fucking love you guys. I hope that all the COs, I'm going to pray for them every single night, the COs that are involved in the stabbings and the COs that are in the joint right now that could possibly find understanding, empathy, and some type of wisdom when it comes to how to deal with us and get the response that they truly want, which is, you know, peace and a level of communication that'll lead to them not getting stabbed or not getting, you know, dealing with bullshit. But in all reality, it seems to me like they might want that situation to be like that. So who knows, really? But I love you guys. I love you so much. You're my family, bro. Even if there's a CO in this chat, if there's a CO in here, man, I really have respect for you. Your job is what it is. And you know, I really hope that you find some understanding in wisdom in my words, because this is a situation that's never going to end as long as we can't see each other's sides for what they really are. Peace, love, W number. Ow.
You know why you ain't got what I got? Why you ain't flashing no knot? Cause you ain't paper chasing out you like that boost and pop. There gon' be a lot of niggas dead for the foolishness stop. I'ma introduce you pussy niggas to these Rugers and Glocks. I turned the block into a block, now these niggas won't pay. I'm charging niggas 9 pieces just to cook up they weight. You got that iron, I got that iron. Ain't stop making no guns. We got them 1-ton guns and them 100-round drums. And I ain't did a nigga nothing. I don't owe a nigga shit. Everything I stole, I paid for, from X bills to bitch, but you won't get tripped and shit. Act like you sick. Start a hole and start the hole. Now act that your bitch. Now bout boosted, dog boosted. You can get your house shoot. Terrorize nigga like some junkies in the South movie. How to be our name? I bust your damn brain. Close tape your duct tape your nigga. That's on everything. They hate it when that steady came. Now I'm on that money train. It's golden child coming chain. A nigga with the choppers. For real, nigga, who it is? It's golden child coming chain. A nigga with the choppers. Jealousy, yeah. I told you, man, it's jealousy, yeah. It's nothing but jealousy, yeah. Got these niggas scared, wanna bust a nigga head for no reason, man. It's jealousy, yeah. I told you, man, it's jealousy, yeah. Every soldier, man, it's jealousy, yeah. Got these niggas scared, wanna bust a nigga head for no reason, man.
I'm thugging in real life, nigga, ask the slums. I was raised by the addicts and scrutinized by bums. I got down in the mud and spilled blood for crumbs. I know how to survive and accept it how it comes. I got it the hard way, don't know shit about fun. I caught my gut in the field and got scorched by the sun. When the cops hit the block, I was taught to run. When the beat hit the streets, I'ma spark the gun. I lived the wrong way, I came a long way. You jealous of the wrong nigga on the wrong day. Be boosted and whether you hit your set the strong way. Just watch what you say, go have some churn you wanna play. Big head don't give a fuck about none of that, man. And to thank one of y'all niggas if it come to that, man. Stay in your league, we big dogs, nigga, nationwide. We head the dome, Dr. Baby, uptown, south side.
Jealousy, yeah. I told you, man. would say, man. Fuck my fame, I knock your brains out your city. Why you hating, I'm getting super brain for my missus. Niggas stuck in the gutter, I'm finna blow past 50. These niggas jealous of me. I know one thing, you ain't ready, best call your fellas for me. You know one thing about Webby, get ready for it. Oh, pussy ass nigga. I them bitch ass niggas jealous, nigga. Jealousy, yeah. I told you, man, it's jealousy, yeah. It's like jealousy, yeah. Got these niggas scared, wanna bust my nigga head for no reason, man. It's jealousy, yeah. I told you, man, it's jealousy, yeah. Every soldier, man, it's jealousy, yeah. Got these niggas scared, wanna bust a nigga head for no reason. Since I was small, I was hard-headed, but I was breaded and never bit my tongue. Bitch, if I said it, then I said it. And keep that thing loaded, all for safety, so I'm ready. All you jealous ass niggas, I make sure you get the message. I keep nice, be crisp white, them boys be pissed like. Fuck that nigga Fox, when I see him, oh, we gon' fist fight. No, you got me bit, but that chopper make him get right. I'm a small nigga, I ain't got time for all them quick right. I went to the stomach, I guarantee he won't shit right. My condolence shit to his family, but that was his night. Niggas want my money, my life, and all my bad hoes. Niggas ain't the only ones jealous, they got some mad hoes. Got inside my gun, Hancock, and now my cash grows. Niggas wanna sit at my funeral on the last row. If I let a broke nigga kill me, I'll be an asshole. So I keep that iron real close, nigga. Yeah. Shit, they say money to rule all evil. You ain't even gotta have that nigga hate on you. Fucked up, you fucked up.